Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth, and in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about, can you get your ex back if they lose feelings for you? So, when this one comes up after a breakup, it really hurts. Because to feel like somebody just completely lost feelings for you, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you would feel that way towards me, like that you're not feeling the strong connection that I still have with you, this bond, you know, that we created over however long it's been. And it can really take you by surprise and really hurt. So I'm going to be talking about this today because sometimes an ex will say something like they don't care about the relationship anymore, or they don't have feelings for you anymore, or that they don't love you anymore, and that really hurts, right? Because it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm hearing you say that you don't love me anymore. Now, the thing about that is, a lot of times exes don't say that out of nowhere. They usually have to get pushed to that point because they do have strong feelings for you, but they just might not want to be with you at that time. And so a lot of times we get so anxious and uncertain and want to know an answer. And we think, a lot of times people will think, okay, they won't want to admit that they don't love me anymore. So if I can get them to admit that they still love me, then that kind of means they'll have to work it out with me. So that's not going to work. I know your thinking is, if I just get them to say they still love me, then I can work with that and say, oh, well, we could do this or we could do that. But that's not quite what happens in a breakup, right? Unfortunately, it's not that simple. So one of the things that you need to know is that even if you've heard something like this from your ex, I don't love you, I don't want to be with you anymore. Sometimes if you've really pushed them, they'll say things like, we're never going to get back together again. Understand that this is how your ex is feeling in that moment. Now, I'm not saying that it's a guarantee that it'll change, because there are no guarantees with anything in life, right? But I can tell you that I have heard many, many people over the years say they'll never take somebody back, they'll never give them another chance, and yet at another point in time, they do. Now, it's extremely unlikely to happen soon after they've said something like that, but it doesn't mean that it can't happen over time, because it does. That is how they're feeling in this moment, okay? Now, at this point, you may try and do everything in your power to change their mind, and obviously nothing seems to work, because really nothing isn't going to work. At the time of the breakup, they're simply not feeling as strong of a connection to you. Now, it can be a lot of different things, right? It could be an attraction, but it doesn't have to be a physical attraction. Like sometimes people will feel like it's a physical attraction. Well, the physical can be kind of tied to the emotional and the behaviors. Obviously, if they were attracted to you physically for a while, then why would that change? I mean, unless something has really changed looks-wise, maybe you have let yourself go in a lot of different areas or ways, and they lost attraction to that. I mean, that's a reality. People do lose attraction for that reason, okay? You can't sugarcoat that. However, a lot of times it's more about the emotional connection and the behaviors that we've done that turn them off. Now, sometimes it's that you're dating somebody who has more of an avoidant attachment style. And with avoidance, they don't really value connections as much as anxious people do. They value them, but it's easier for them to be disconnected because they had to do that to survive. This is a very early developmental arrest that happens with their bond with their caregivers. So their attachment style can be a big part of it. Another thing is that maybe you've been doing behaviors that made them want to leave. Maybe they've told you for a long time they need you to fix things, or things need to be different. And they often do things in a subtle way. Sometimes your partner will not be standing in front of you, like waving you down, saying, this is what I need. They'll say little comments like, you know, you never take me to the beach anymore. Things like that. That really means something, and you have to learn to be emotionally attuned to people. This is why I tell you guys you have to really do the work to be become a great partner, because little things like that can mean a lot. Sometimes your partner is just feeling like that connection, that relationship, the dynamic that they've created with you is not strong enough, or it's not strong enough at that point. And so you may find yourself really trying more and more to do things to get them to give you another chance. And all of those behaviors, unfortunately, usually have the exact opposite reaction, and it pushes them away. And I know, because I've done those things before. I've pushed for, let's just talk about it. If we could just talk about it, I thought just talking about it would fix things. Unfortunately, those things work in a relationship, but not often in a breakup. So you're probably frustrated and feeling like, well, nothing I'm doing is making it better. Because a lot of times our instincts are dead wrong in a breakup, and that's why they're so confusing, because it's very counterintuitive, a lot of ways and things that you have to do. But there is something you can do, and it really is effective, and that is to stop reaching out. When you stop reaching out, it instantly shifts the dynamic and the energy, because you're no longer trying to push your agenda. Your ex has already weighed a lot of the pros and cons of being with you, and they've likely thought about how things will play out or what it would be like to be without you ahead of time. So all those things like a handwritten letter and grand gesture and clean slate message are not likely going to do anything to change your mind. Does it happen sometimes? Yes, it does, but rarely, and a lot of the times it makes things worse. You have to stop resisting the breakup, and you have to go no contact. Now, the way we teach no contact, it's to stop reaching out to your ex. We don't want you to ignore your ex if they reach out. We want you to simply stop reaching out to them. This shifts the entire dynamic. When you can show the strength to go no contact and just to stop reaching out, it shows your ex that you're respecting their decision and that you're strong enough to leave them alone, that you can go on without them. In order for your ex to start having feelings for you again, you have to leave them alone, and they have to figure it out on their own. They have to see you differently, because you've exhibited a lot of pushing your agenda, not listening, not respecting, manipulating, all those things because you're afraid to be alone. And when you can stop doing those things, it allows your ex the space and the time to have those feelings for you again. And I know it feels like it's impossible, but I've seen it happen many, many times over the years, and it could easily happen in your situation if you just leave them alone. Many of you with attachment issues are very afraid, and many of you are afraid that by going no contact, you're doing nothing, or that your ex is just going to forget about you. And that's simply not true. They're not going to forget about you. But we need there to be a kind of a shift in the dynamics and in the connection. And if somebody has lost feelings for you and you've tried to repair it, you need your ex to look at you differently. And the only way that I see that, or the most effective way I see that, is to show confidence and strength. And leaving somebody alone is doing that. Okay? That is showing secure behavior. And as time passes, your ex will see things differently. Nobody sees the breakup the same as time goes by. Because when you're really emotional and things are heated, you're defensive, you're angry, a lot of times your ex is frustrated with you and they're fed up with your behavior. But as those emotions go away, and they do, I'm not saying that they'll necessarily change their mind and come back, but as time goes by, it allows them time to reflect and look at the relationship more clearly, at what they did wrong, at their mistakes in the relationship, at your mistakes, at maybe how they made a bigger deal about the mistakes that you did than and at the time it felt a lot more intense to them. But then over time they realized, you know what, that really wasn't that big of a deal. Why did I get so upset in that moment? But your ex really does need time to reconsider things and to miss you. And in that time, you're showing strength and confidence. But you have to show them you'll be able to walk away. This is incredibly important. I cannot stress this enough. You have to show your partner that you will walk away. And this goes for any relationship. If your partner is mistreating you, abusing you, taking advantage of you, taking you for granted, you have to show them you will walk away if you have to. Not that you're giving up easily or you're a quitter, just that, you have enough self-love that if things aren't going the way you need, you will walk away. That is strength. You can see this dynamic in many areas of life. One that always comes to mind for me is when you're going to buy a car, right? What happens when you go to buy a car? A lot of times you go in there and you see the price and you try and haggle on the price, but the price isn't where you want it to be. And you're sitting in the office and they get the manager in there and they're trying to tell you that they can't go lower on this price and they're giving you the lowest price. And if you're still sitting there, they know you're invested, okay? If you're still sitting in that office, they know you're spending your time, your energy, and that you really want the car. And so they kind of have the upper hand here because you're not walking away. And so you have to show, I'm sorry, this isn't what works for me. This is what I need to be at. And then you get up and you leave. And you might say, I'm going to go to another dealership, or I'll look someplace else, or no thank you, whatever it may be. But what happens when you do? They often call you the next day, a couple days later. Oh, my other boss came in and he said we can work on a price. Come on in, let's see what we can work on. Of course, they don't want to tell you over the phone what that price is going to be. They try and get you, we can only tell you that in person. Okay, because they get you there, they get you invested, but then you're not often going to get the price that you want. But you have to show strength, okay? You have to show that you will walk away in many areas of life. And it's not easy, but many times you have to do that in a dynamic that's not working for you. Now, it's also really important that in this time, you are really motivated in no contact. You're really looking at the relationship and what didn't work. Where can you improve? What things can you do differently if they come back that you can show them that things will change? Because, they weren't happy. They were unhappy enough to leave, and you have to remember that. Now, I'm not saying it's all your fault, because there are many different types of breakups out there. But for many of you, nobody's perfect. So you likely did some things to turn them off. So you really want to stay consistent in your motivation level and not get discouraged by how their current level or attitude, their level of interest in you, or their attitude towards you is at the given moment. Because feelings change. Feelings change all the time. They aren't concrete. And I bet if you just think back to things in your life, your feelings have changed many times over many different things. Your beliefs, your values, many things have changed. Your feelings even towards your ex probably have changed throughout the course of the relationship. So yes, you can get your ex back even though they say they don't have feelings for you. What they're saying is they don't have feelings for you right now. Or maybe they're saying that their feelings for you aren't strong enough to be with you right now, right? They can't just shut off all their feelings, although they often look like they do. And of course, yes, there may be some people in this world that have done that, but it's rare. Most of the time, people, their feelings may be not as intense. They were unhappy enough to want to leave. Whatever the dynamics may be, but they can change again. Feelings can change again. So you want to get ready. You want to blow them away. You want to get confident. You want to work on all the issues. You want to work on the skills to being a great partner, okay? And being the best version of yourself. It's either going to reattract them or it's going to help blow people away that you meet and you date in the future. It's a win-win for you. And that is what I love about a breakup, okay? You can't just say a win is only getting your ex back. I have had so many stories over the years of people that say they found somebody that was much better for them than their ex, but they did the work on themselves and they committed to personal growth in that time. Okay? So hopefully this has been helpful to you. Of course, if you want to get my help personally, you could do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. You can get my workbooks or my creative healing course on my website. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.